Manchester United is prepared to make an audacious bid for a highly prized footballer. I'll tell you who in just a bit. Meanwhile, Kobbie Mainoo is in things. What a day. On this same day, we welcome back the return of two important players ahead of our home game against Arsenal. Welcome to the United Sport. My name is Webb, and here is a wrap-up for you of all Manchester United news today. Just subscribe, like this video, share it so that I sum it up for you. I make myself busy with Manchester United content every day so that you don't have to scroll around all these so many social media platforms or news sources to try and get the news, because I've got my contacts in there. But of course, I also spend time to try and read and research about this beloved club of ours. Now, here is a wrap-up of the news. Starting off with the good one, Manchester United have made that boy Joao Neves a top target in the summer transfer window, as INEOS feel they can raise the £100 million that Benfica expect for him. It is said that INEOS have prioritized him as the first choice to come in as a holding midfielder to replace Casemiro. They love his ball-winning capabilities. They love his firmness on the ground. They love his confidence. They love his age. They love everything about him and his ability to attack and score goals. So he's a complete midfielder who fits the profile that INEOS thinks will suit a footballer who comes in for Manchester United. So he's priced at close to £100 million. Of course, there was talk that his buyout clause was about 120 million euros. Lots of money. That's of course close to £100 million. But whereas it's high and threatening, INEOS seem to have a plan in place to be able to go and or make an audacious bid for this 19-year-old Portuguese international who has been exceedingly exceptional for his Benfica side, as they did enjoy a good run back home in Portugal. Meanwhile, Manchester United too are monitoring Antonio Silva, another Benfica footballer who is a centre-back, to come in as an option in the central defense in the event that they fail to get either Todibo or Branthwaite or one of them. Remember, United's idea is to sign two centre-backs. Antonio Silva, who is another highly priced player, is still back on the list for INEOS. I told you, right now as we speak, INEOS are putting together a solid plan for them to move fast in the summer transfer window. Beautiful stuff. This is Manchester United talk. Now, moving on, speaking of INEOS and what they're doing, there is talk that Dan Ashworth could come in very soon, that Manchester United are close to finalizing the talks with Newcastle to lure Dan Ashworth completely away, and he comes to start work, getting things done at Manchester United. Because remember, the talk before was the difference in valuation of the man, that Newcastle United wanted they wanted about £15 million for him. United were tabling £2 million to buy him out of his contract. But the fact that Ashworth himself wants to join Manchester United has got Newcastle thinking, you know what, perhaps we shall just need to bend down a little. So Manchester United might be forced to pay more than £2 million, but it certainly won't be the £15 million or even 20, according to some reports, that Newcastle wanted. So there is progress, and it is expected that Dan Ashworth would be joining in sooner rather than later, so that everything INEOS is planning just starts moving at the right speed. Well, United news for you again. More talk. Well, Kobbie Mainoo, our young lad, the 19-year-old wonder kid, the revelation of the season, the only joy we've had this season at Manchester United, is in things where everything he has done is continuously paying for it. This is his time. Kobbie Mainoo has been nominated among the Premier League Young Players of the Year for this season, and he has of course certainly earned it, because you see how he came onto the senior team, how he broke into directly into the first 11, how he became an important player for Manchester United, how he turned around our fortunes, how he went on to be called to the England under-21s only for them to recall it and then call him for the senior team, and he made his first full debut in an amazing performance against Belgium. So this boy has clearly earned everything. No wonder he's nominated, and not so many will be surprised. And also, of course, at his club, he's looked at among those what you would call the untouchable players that INEOS will be hoping to build Manchester United around. So Kobbie is in things. And of course, the competition is tight because there is Phil Foden in that of Manchester City. There is Cole Palmer. There is Bukayo Saka. This is an award that goes to footballers who are 23 years and younger by the time the Premier League started. So it is going to be tight, certainly. But you look at all of them and you think maybe the only thing that would let down Kobbie Mainoo is his teammates, because United has not been performing. So it's difficult for that award to be given to him when his team is not well. Just same thing with Cole Palmer. Probably, I think for me, I would be torn between Palmer and Kobbie. Of course, I've got my bias with Kobbie, but it's difficult to make a case for him because United has struggled so much. By and large, it's difficult to single him out. So, but they appreciate what he has done. For me, the nomination alone is a confirmation of how good this boy is, and certainly for me, it's a big kudos for him. But if you look at individual performances, it's probably he might have an edge over the rest, considering that he has been performing exceedingly well in a team full of very poor players. So it's a rock and a hard place. But the nomination alone for me is an amazing thing for Kobbie Mainoo. So we will be waiting to see who will win that award. But the competition is definitely tight. But you never know. He was already the Manchester United Player of the month of January. His goal was, I think, best goal in which month was it? Just a few months ago. The month he scored against that beat against Wolves. So he has been winning things, he has been winning things. So he has certainly earned every right to be in there. My only issue with Kobbie now is that his levels have been dropping, at least if you go by the last game. But I'm hoping it's just, a moment that he will come back and show what his levels are against Arsenal on Sunday. Now, speaking of Sunday and Arsenal, Lisandro Martinez and Marcus Rashford are back training, and it is looking likely that the two will be in the squad. Lisandro Martinez perhaps might not start, but with the desperate Erik ten Hag is on when it comes to the centre-back position. Certainly, don't be surprised if he actually does start even. But Lisandro Martinez is back together with Marcus Rashford in the team, and they're in contention for places for that in that game against Arsenal. Now, remember, Manchester United do want to finish at least sixth probably to try and play in the Europa League or win the FA Cup final against Man City, which is harder. The two finishing among the sixth and winning the FA Cup, which is harder. You can give me your take on that. But the return of Lisandro Martinez is seen as a huge boost because it organizes United from the back, and we can probably have an idea of what Erik ten Hag keeps telling us, that when he has some of these Martinez and Luke Shaw back, everything looks different. But they are back training. He was training so well with a smile on his face. You would see the facial expressions alone would show you that Licha perhaps is feeling good and okay. Well, I don't want to rate him as an injury-prone player who will be, again, costing us, because of his injuries, because if it happens, if he comes and plays a game or two and goes back to the sick bed, I'm certain INEOS will be thinking he's not staying. They will be parting ways with him, which will be a painful thing to watch, really, considering his potential and how good he is as a player. World Cup winner, super butcher, going just like that because of injuries. But the reality is he is a fighter, and I'm certain he will show up. Now, I'll talk briefly about the manager's situation. You know that Thomas Tuchel managed his last game at Bayern Munich. He was requested to stay, and he seemed not to want to. So Thomas Tuchel managed his last game at Bayern Munich, that loss in the UEFA Champions League against Real Madrid, and he's now trying to push through a move to come and join Manchester United. And I'm seeing there is an army there that sort of supports him, and they're pushing his agenda, trying to credit him for calling Joshua Kimmich and telling him how to mark Vinicius Jr. and what have you. So the PR team is not seated. They are trying to find ways of forcing Thomas Tuchel on Manchester United. He has clearly shown that he's interested in the job. So you can imagine jumping straight from the Bayern job, where he has failed, I think, by and large, to jump straight into the Manchester United job. That doesn't sound right at all. Definitely, I think any coach would need a few days off. But with the pressure at Manchester United, you can't come from a failed attempt at the Bundesliga and one team league, if you would say, to jump into the best at Manchester United. I don't back Thomas Tuchel at all, honestly. But even Bayern Munich are interested seriously in Erik ten Hag because they're desperate for a manager to replace Thomas Tuchel. So it will be an interesting swap deal if that were to happen. But there's another guy who is coming in the equation, that is Nagelsmann, who is being linked to the job at Manchester United, and he seems now to be open to an idea of taking on the job now. So it means now there are 4, I think, concrete candidates away from Erik ten Hag, of course, who could remain in the job. There are concrete candidates in Nagelsmann. There is Thomas Tuchel, and there is, of course, Zinedine Zidane, And the fourth one, who is emerging now, is Ruben Amorim. They speak about him, the Sporting Lisbon manager, who is also said to be in contention for the job. Graham Potter is also trying to come back in the news, but I think people just beat off Graham Potter on the first rumor linking United with him. It's clear that not so many people are interested in him. I don't know of any single United supporter who was for Graham Potter coming and replacing Erik ten Hag. I think most would rather keep Erik ten Hag if Potter is the option. So you can see that this whole Man United future is, I think, getting close to an end. I think INEOS soon will be forced to make a pronouncement after the FA Cup final, which is on the 25th of May. So it's, I think, looking positive where we're headed. But the rumors and speculations of which managers are interested in the job are so many. But in my heart of hearts, guys, let me just surprise you. In my heart of hearts, low-key, and this is not a source anywhere. It's not like I get this from any source. But low-key, in my heart of hearts, I feel like INEOS could shock us and appoint either Jose Mourinho or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's what I feel, my gut, and don't ask me why. There is no proper explanation or justification. It's a gut thing. I have this gut feeling that INEOS could surprise and bring back either Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Jose Mourinho. That's why Jose Mourinho is turning down all the jobs he's being called for. But that's just my gut, and it might be wrong. My name is Webb. This is the United Hotspot. That was all Manchester United news for you today. Subscribe, and of course, let's keep growing.